Hey guys, so I wanted to make a video on the Turkish Get-Up to help some of you who are not as familiar with the movement maximize your time when you come in to train here at Illumin. I like to teach the Get-Up from the top down just because it makes sense to some people a little bit more that way. So at the top position, you don't want to be too far extended through your low back or arching your low back. You don't want to have a bent elbow, and you don't want your wrist to be extended or floppy. Okay, so you want to fix that wrist, fix the elbow, fix the shoulder, pack the shoulder, fix the ribs, tuck those ribs down, squeeze those glutes, and stay nice and strong just like that. Now from here, as I come down, I have two options. First, I'm still looking straight ahead here. I'm not looking up at the kettlebell. So I'm still looking straight ahead. Now I can either windshield wiper that back leg. So go from this straight position to this side position, just like this. Or I can open up my leg this way. What this does is it gives me all of this room to work with. Because from here, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be sitting back and rotating through the thoracic spine. So you're doing two things at once. You're doing a hip hinge, which actually loads the hips. And then you're doing a thoracic spine rotation, just like that. What you don't want to do is just bend from the spine. You don't want to just come down looking for that hand as quickly as possible. Okay? A lot of times, this is what most people do. They come straight down this way. So from the back, just like that, all of that force gets taken in through your low back or lumbar spine. That's not what you want. You want to load the hips, so you're still hinging through the hips, and then you're rotating through the mid back. And so now all of your weight is in this back hip, okay? It's not through your side or through your spine. So if we're here, we open the leg. You can tap yourself on the hip, and you'll see people do this. All that does is remind them to load and go through the hips, rotate, and now this hand just finds the ground, just like that. And so you can notice I'm in this nice pyramid or tripod position. I'm very stable here. Now from here, I want to actually shift my weight forward and load this new wrist. Okay, so if we're looking at this angle, I come down. I'm not going to stay back here. I'm going to load my weight onto this wrist, and that makes my leg light. And then I can just bring it down here. And then I slowly come down onto my elbow. And then from here, I'm going to very slowly try to touch my left shoulder first, and then roll nice and slow and in control onto my right shoulder, okay? So that if we were to reverse that or do the get up part of it, we roll that right shoulder up, roll up onto our elbow this way, and we are not crunching up that way, okay? So you'll see the coaches teach a nice roll first. And so what you want to do is you want to use this heel on this side and this elbow to hoist yourself up on that elbow. So you keep your torso very tight, and you're using your oblique muscles to help roll you over and up into position. So in one move, you come up like that. And then you come up on your hand. Now here we have two options. We can either do a low sweep, which is literally just bending my knee this way and then coming up just a little bit to drag my leg right here in this position. Or you'll see some people do a high bridge. So they'll come up with their hips like that, and then they can come underneath. Either one is fine, neither is wrong. You can start with a low sweep. It's a little bit more stable and a little bit easier to get into that position, especially if you have tight hips. And now, remember, on the way down, we were here, we opened up, we sat through our hips, so we hinged and we rotated, and then our hand found the ground. So now we're in this position and we're coming up. We're not going to do the same mistake as we would make on the way down, which is just side bending up into position. Stay. Okay, we don't want to side bend up into that position. We want to do the same thing. We want to come through the hips. So as we come forward and through the hips, we keep our spine safe. So on the way down, we go back and rotate. On the way up, we go through the hips and rotate forward, just like that. So that's why kettlebell windmills are a great tool to use in order to help teach that hinge and rotation position. Okay, so one full repetition. We're going to start on our side, and we cradle the kettlebell. We always use two hands to bring it here, and we use two hands to press it up. And now we want to make sure that this shoulder isn't reaching up or shrugging. Okay, it wants and should be down and packed, which keeps it nice and safe. Now, I can open up my leg here as far as I want to keep a nice stable base. Okay, so we're going to be rolling over this way. So I can take a nice breath in, pack my abs, get nice and strong, and push myself up onto that elbow, rolling. I'm keeping my wrist stacked and strong. I'm not letting it bend back this way. And I'm not letting the elbow bend. If you're having troubles with that, the kettlebell is too heavy for your arm and shoulder blade and wrist strength. So just get a little bit lower one. And then as Dr. Mark Chang taught me, this bottom shoulder, you never want it to collapse down this way, okay? He calls this the hey girl shoulder. You don't want to do that. You want to bring that shoulder away from you and keep it nice and tight through the armpit or lat. And we come up on our hand, low sweep up into this position. I like to load back onto my hips and then come forward. And then now I can either come forward this way or windshield wiper my leg. Doesn't matter. I come up through the lunge, and now I repeat or reverse. So back down here, windshield wiper to create all this space. Hinge back and rotate. Find my arm, load it, sit through, down on the elbow, nice and slow, and down. Boom. Just like that. So you can use this video as a little bit of a reference on days leading up to Turkish Get-Ups.